No? All right. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah amma ba'd. Welcome back after 1.5 years of
I don't think
hiatus.
it's been 1.5
It
years.
has been because it was 2
Sam,
Ramadans
it's been
ago.
1.5 years? We get to see some.
I'm sure it was because
Should give
look,
him a mic.
we had Ramadan. Yeah, we should give him a mic. Just give him this mic. Yeah, we need his commentary. Come on, just give him this mic. Just move
Here,
it.
Sim.
It's right there. Perfect.
There you go. Make it live, baby. All right.
So you might notice that we're down one man, but we didn't cut him. He's
We
he's
dropped him like a bad habit.
no, he's home with the
Sick
kids who are a
kids.
little sick, so
Yeah.
made dua for them. Man, 1.5 years. So what happened was 2 Ramadans ago, 2 Eids ago, like 2 Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, we said, take a break from Ramadan, we'll come back. We came back.
2 Ramadans ago?
Yeah, 2 Ramadans ago.
Not last Ramadan, the Ramadan before.
yeah.
Okay.
And then we took that break.
Okay.
We took like a month off after that.
Yeah.
We came back. We did an episode. I think we did your origin story, which never got published.
Sim.
Yeah. And then so we got to do that again.
Yeah.
And then you just decided we shouldn't do it anymore, despite the fact that so many people were asking.
The setup is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. And then
Right
finally,
now, Sim is taking a lot of time, and he's making sure that we understood how long it took him and how much effort
we
it
gave a
was.
lot of credit to him. I wish we could turn the camera on to show this whole setup. A lot of credit to Asim, who really set this up. So inshallah, Mujj will be back once his kids are feeling better. But we got quite a show today. And the title of the show, which I titled, Do I Look Fat in This?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But before that, there's a really big announcement I have to make.
Okay.
After 7 years, I started eating meat again.
Oh, yes. Yes.
This week, took a bite of some chicken, some lamb.
Awesome.
It's been hard.
I think we should discuss why we decided to put you back on meat, or why you decided to start eating meat again.
I think we'll save that for a different episode.
All right.
Yeah, because we have this whole episode sort of a
Okay.
pretty touchy topic. But I wanted to let the world know that if I'm invited to your house, I guess I could have meat now.
Depends on whose house.
And who certifies it? Yeah, but it's hard to get back to used to. My stomach is killing me regularly. It's protein.
Sim's eating protein.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get right into it. I don't want to go too long because
Yeah.
last time we were during our podcast, we kept on getting complaints that don't go over this certain time limit or whatnot. So we'll try to limit to an hour.
Yeah, let's do that.
So we got the clock running so we don't bore anybody.
Yep.
So
It's a little weird without Mujj being here. I feel like we're missing. Like, I think he keeps the conversation
Mudge
going.
is usually here somewhere.
Yeah,
And Sim's beard is big enough that I feel like Mudge is somewhere here in spirit.
that's true. That's true.
His beard is here at least.
Speaking of big, mashallah, dude, you look a lot bigger.
I'm on a bulk right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're on a bulk. You look like you swallowed someone.
I wish.
Your arms are bigger than my calves. Your forearms are bigger than my calves.
I hope.
That's crazy.
I hope.
I thought I had pretty good calves too.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but your forearms.
It's been interesting. The past couple of months, I decided, I wanted to gain some serious size. I had a goal. I turned 44 last week, so I wanted to be the heaviest that I've ever been, 225.
Yeah.
And I almost got there. I got there to 222, and then I had a little stomach, a little sickness, and so I stopped for the last 3 days, and I was just that's what I hit. And right now I'm sitting at like 216. So I'll probably get back up there. Normally I'm around 200 pounds to 205. I fluctuate. People usually think I'm around 220, 230 anyways, but I'm usually around 205.
But you look bigger than you did at 2.
Yeah,
you
200
look
to 207 is where my
I would guess you're 240 right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, it's the frame. So the bone structure, the bone frame is that, makes me look like that. But, it's really, 216, 217.
All that growth hormone.
Growth hormone, I don't think it will make my bones grow if I take growth hormone. It won't help. It doesn't densify the bones.
Yeah.
So, but
Man.
it's just eating a lot of food and working
A lot of food.
5,000 calories, man, just to get to 22. I'm maintaining at 4,000 right now, and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, mashallah. I mean, and you have a six-pack going.
Alhamdulillah, man.
alhamdulillah. So
It's
not
what
like
you
it's
eat,
dirty.
man. So
Yeah.
I learned a lot, over the years, and the food that we eat, it makes a profound effect on results. And this goes for anything, right? For losing weight, for gaining weight, whatever it is, the food that we eat and the quality, and that's one of the reasons why we talked. I was talking about eating meat, is because the quality of the protein that you get from eating meat versus
100%.
Supplements or vegetarian sources is extremely different. You know,
I can feel my body working harder, digesting it.
Huge difference. And people, you know, they dismiss it for nonsense reasons, you know, that they read here and there. In any case, the question was,
you getting big?
Do I look fat in this?
Yeah, well, I'm transitioning over. Like, so, mashallah, even at 44, 64. So, even at,
what is it? I look 64, but I'm 44. Yeah.
So even at 44, mashallah, you look good.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And, you know, it's so interesting. Sometimes when we read these hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he did all these romantic things, and he did, we think, oh man, like 25, 26. He was like 60 years old, 61 years old, 62 years old. And we already know he had a nice frame. He was broad. His stomach never exceeded his chest. He had strong hands, good grip strength. He had solid features. But even like the romance, the way that he made himself look, continued through old age. So I want to talk about this idea, like, do I look fat in this? Because so many times you hear wives asking this question. I'm not saying my wife, I'm not saying yours. What I'm saying is that they ask this question, do I look fat in this?
Yeah.
And the reality is that it brings up something that's really important. That is looking good for your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'd rather hear, do I look good in this?
Yes.
You know?
Seriously.
And that's what I get a lot. But no, you know, the do I look fat in this? If you have to ask that question, you are fat. It's as simple as that. So what you're trying to do now is you're trying to wear something that doesn't make you look fat, or, you know, lessens the look of the fat.
Yeah.
And then you're asking your spouse, hey, do I look fat in this?
Yeah.
You know? And, you know, I had to feel bad for the spouses that have to deal with this, because, you know, they can't answer honestly. No spouse will answer honestly. And, you know, I know many people who are overweight, you know, men and females. And I can tell you for sure that their husbands or their wives don't tell them. Yeah. You know, they don't address the issue head on, because, oh, there's sensitivity issues, or, you know, they're going to get upset, you know, their feelings are going to get hurt, they're going to make my life a living hell, and blah, blah, blah. And I know that you recently even told me about, you know, some case that you were dealing with where...
Cases.
Okay, cases.
Yeah.
Where the husband complained to you about certain things about the wife not taking care of herself, and for her was like, oh, I don't care. This is who I am. This is the way I am. You should just like me the way I am.
Yeah, over the past 5 or 6 years, I've had multiple cases like this where people have come and they say that, look, my wife, and actually even husband, it's both ways. It's both ways.
Yeah,
my spouse is just content.
Yeah.
Like, and so let's go step one. The first thing I want to cover is, Islamically, do we care about our looks?
Of course.
Yeah, 100%. And even Quran, Allah describes
let's clarify that. Yeah, go ahead. Say the Quran.
So when Allah Ta'ala describes in Quran how husband and wife are for one another, He says, "Hunna libasul lakum antum libasul lahun." That you are garments for each other. I'm just giving a short translation. Yeah. In garments, Allah mentions one place in Quran that قَدْ أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ لِبَاسًا يُوَارِي سَوْآتِكُمْ وَرِيشًا. One of the purpose of garments is to beautify. We are supposed to be beautiful for our spouse. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, in a very clear hadith, he mentions that, verily I love to make myself beautiful. I want to beautify myself for my spouse, just like I want my wife to beautify herself for me.
I completely agree.
It's an Islamic thing. People have this misconception that I'm getting religious, so I have to just like not comb my beard or dress raggedy. And even spouses, even wives, they have that same idea as well. You know, one of the things that I've noticed about men and women who dress in loose garments, it's like they let themselves grow into that garment. Yeah. I mean, guys, I've seen a lot of men fall into this trap. Yep. I'm wearing a thobe, I'm wearing a qamis.
I wear a jilbab, I wear a thobe. It's okay to be whatever. Nobody cares. Yeah. There's two aspects. Right? One is the religious aspect where they let themselves go completely. And you know, I think both sides let themselves go physically for sure.
Yes.
But the side that the religious side not only does let themselves go physically, but they don't even care whether they look good enough for the opposite spouse. Now I know, you know, even in women, like, you know, I've heard that, you know, there are some women who don't, like, you know, take care of facial hair or do this or do that because, you know, they're always wearing niqab but I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, but they're at home with their husband. Yeah. That's gotta be an issue, right? Like, for me, it is. I mean, and I think for most men, that's an issue, right? And so, if I don't like something, I'll straight. I mean, I'm the type of guy, you know. And my wife knows this. I'm the type of guy. If I don't like something, or if something's out of place, I'll tell him right away. I'll be like, hey, you know what? Because that is who I go to for my, you know, for fulfillment. For you know, that's what I need. If they're not there to give me that, then obviously my eyes are going to wander. Obviously, I'm going to look other places. And you know, and when you said that it's a libas for one another, means, you know, I know they're going to translate that as, oh, you know, we're supposed to cover them, they're supposed to cover us, we're supposed to hide their sins and blah blah. and they're supposed to hide our sins, and we're, that's more than pretty much that's enough. I'm there for him, and he's there for me. But if you're not beautifying yourself, then you're not going to be able to fulfill that libas, commandment either, right? Because he should not be, or she should not be looking other places. I've seen this, by the way. It's not just men. I've heard it and seen it from women as well, who notice other men and say, "Oh wow, look, he's in great shape, or he looks good," blah blah blah. And their husband's not in shape, and obviously they've noticed something.
Yeah,
right? They notice the difference.
Yeah. So what we have to establish first and foremost is do not think it's un-Islamic to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If the Prophet ﷺ encouraged, we were just talking about this a moment ago, go ahead and dye your hair, dye your beards. You know why? Because it's a beautification. I'm not saying I don't dye mine either. Yeah. But the idea is that for whom? If the world out there,
that's a good point that you brought up, because there's guys. There are many people nowadays, and not just nowadays, but forever. They don't take care of anything of themselves.
Yeah.
But this part has to be like just perfect. And men and women, right? The makeup, the eyelashes, the eyebrows, the I don't even know how much makeup they have to put on. There's eye stuff, there's cheek stuff.
Men are doing it too.
There's lip stuff, there's ear stuff. They do women go crazy, and then men, they all dye their beards, they do this, they do that. At a certain point, to me, that looks ugly. Mm-hmm. Especially when women are so out of shape and they wear these fancy clothes and they put on a ton of makeup and they go out. And first of all, I have a million problems with that, starting with why are you outside looking good? That's number one. But number two, more importantly, even if you're at home trying to look good for your husband like that, it's just a cover up. Yeah. True beauty. I mean, if someone really is looking good, you gotta look good naked. I have to say that. It's seriously, if you can't look good naked, you're not a good looking person. With naked meaning without anything, without any makeup, without any cover up, without any coloring, without any clothes. If you can't look good naked, then we have a problem.
You had I was already worried about where this topic's gonna go. I'm like, oh great,
but it's true.
Hey, awesome. Can we edit that?
No, but
no. I agree.
Right? Even when you talk in bodybuilding forums and you talk to men and women, and if you read about them getting healthy and them working out to look good for a certain, you ask them what's their. Most people will say to go good naked, because when they take off their clothes, it's not just for sexual purposes either.
Yeah,
right?
they go display themselves for magazines
and
on stage, etc.
Right, that's one thing. But they're not butt naked, right? So they still can hide certain things. Yeah. But when you take off your clothes in the mirror and you look at yourself, you should feel attractive. You should feel okay, I'm a good looking person.
Do you know one of the ways that I started losing weight? I would go in the mirror and look at myself like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So it's not. I'm not saying that's good. That's my own dysmorphia.
That is good. It's not body dysmorphia, because now you have these people who are like, body positivity, and they're fat and they're out of shape. You have model. I have never seen an out of shape model growing up my entire life, and all of a sudden, in the last 5 years, you've got And I think a lot of people have covered this already, right? I've heard this on Jordan Peterson's podcast. I've heard this on, Joe Rogan. I've heard this on a couple other people.
Mind Pump covered it. Yeah,
they've covered it. It's. I get it. You're trying to include a certain, population of people, but that population of people shouldn't exist. I mean, not in a bad way, but they need to be in shape.
Shouldn't exist mean that they should take care of themselves.
Yeah, they shouldn't be like, okay, this is what we can be and this is what we should be. Because when you start putting models out there and you start using the big mannequins at Target, it's like.
So now this leads to one of the next points, and that is, okay, fine. We should look good for our spouse.
Yeah.
But what do we define as looking good for our spouse?
Looking good naked.
Okay, without being too explicit, what do we define as that? I think one of the things that we have to recognize is that in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, women who were larger were more attractive. They were. And I think one of the things that there's hadith
they were larger, meaning they weren't obese.
Some of the hadith mentions rolls in the stomach.
Really?
So the reason why I mentioned this is because
you're gonna give the wrong message out here.
And then even in the narration, the whole the scandal, the slander against Aisha radiallahu anha. And what did she mention when she lost her necklace and she went out to look for it? She didn't want to tell anyone that they picked up the hodaj where they used to carry them in, and she's like, "I was so light, they thought they lifted me up. They didn't recognize I wasn't even there."
Yeah.
And then she said immediately, "But everyone was light because it was aib. It was like a bad thing to be thin." Ah. But the reason I mention this is because if people come and say, "When hadith, bigger women were considered beautiful," well, what the hadith is showing is that there's societal norms that we have to accept. A husband can't go to his wife and say, oh, well, in hadith, such and such Sahabi was so disheveled and no one had a problem with him, so don't have a problem with me. No, in society, we sort of dictate how beauty looks.
Yeah.
And if we're going to pretend like, oh, well, back home, this is acceptable. I forget in which century in France, women having hair on the upper lip was considered attractive. No one's going to say that's attractive today.
Yeah.
What we have to recognize is that when we're talking about looking good, you have to accept what society considers to look good.
I agree.
We shouldn't be body dysmorphic. We shouldn't be anorexic. We shouldn't be bigorexia was actually a concept. But we should recognize that we can't pretend like, oh, accept me as I am. Because while we do accept each other, if we lower that, tell me how many women out there will honestly say, well, I only make $50,000 a year, accept me for who I am. They'll say, well, go work harder. Yeah. And how many men will say to the woman, like, okay, well, I only cook one meal. The husband will say, well, cook better. Right? So expectations are all around. I'm not trying to relegate women and men to one thing like this. We have a lot of things there. But the idea is that even with beauty, we have to look at what society is showing. If not, then we can pretend at home, oh, everything's fine. And you go out, and why is my husband not finding me? Why is he not approaching me? Why is he not initiating going to bed with me? Because he's so busy all day staring at what's around him. Yeah. And then at home, he's not finding that there. And it's an ugly but honest truth we have to accept. Yep. We could pretend it doesn't exist.
There's definitely societal norms, I guess, for the way we've got it. But, I mean, just the fact that they're making this acceptable. Yeah. Is, hey, and it's not acceptable to be, it's beautiful to be big, or I get it. Beauty, there are good looking women who are kind of on the larger side or whatnot. But, it's not, the health factor is also.
Yeah, I want to save that. I want to save that because I think the health factor is really important.
But nobody's saying that you have to be a certain size.
Yeah,
let me get that straight. I'm not going to say that, only if you're, at 115 or 120 pounds, you're beautiful. Otherwise, or you're good looking. Otherwise, you're not. No, it depends on your frame. Depends on your height. Depends on your bone structure. A lot of things come into play. There are women who are just thicker by nature. Just they have a thicker frame, and they don't look bad at all. There's nothing wrong with it. There are women who have a smaller frame and they look fine. And some of them, even though they have a small frame, they don't look fine because they haven't taken care of themselves properly. Right?
Exactly.
What we're talking about here is being in shape, and not being just in shape, meaning, oh, she should have a 6-pack and a nice,
whatever.
Yeah. I was gonna say nice.
I had to cut him off before we went.
But nice body parts, I guess I could say, or arms should be, But look, big arms or small arms on a woman is not the problem. The problem is when you have that flab. When you're flapping, whether you're bigger, and I've seen it on skinny women, I've seen it on bigger women, right?
I've seen it on men.
And seen it on men. Yeah. And so it's the same thing with men and same thing with women. Men don't have to have 6-packs and be chiseled and cut and ripped and, jacked or anything like that in any case. And people always think that when I come on, I'm just talking about, being big and muscular. It's not really about that. It's about having, looking good, but there's a health thing attached to that too, right? If you're unhealthy, there's nothing good about that, no matter what. You can't look good unhealthy. That's just period. Looking good is actually to get healthy as well, right? So if you're healthy, you're automatically going to look good. And that's what I mean. When you're naked, if you're a healthy person, who takes care of everything. And when we're saying healthy, we're talking about your skin is nice, your hair is nice. You take care of yourself. You groom, you maintain, you do what is needed. You eat the right foods. You use the right products. You exercise, and all that stuff is one package. And that's what's really important here. Is that I don't want people to walk away thinking, oh, he's just hating on everyone who was just not like ripped or jacked. No, not at all. In shape, healthy, performance-wise, and actually medically as well.
So there's 4 points I'm taking away from what you're saying. Number one, I think you have to communicate what you consider attractive to your spouse. In some level.
We're still talking about the spouse thing? I guess. Look, we can't lie to one another.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's not. I don't think you should go to tell you, you're fat, get out of my face. No,
of course not. Yeah.
Go get on the treadmill right away. Yeah. But encourage them. And women and men should. First of all, let me just lay this out. No one should have to come and tell you that.
Yes.
Just be honestly, just be honest with yourself. Yes. That's the main thing. And don't give excuses. Oh, I have children. Oh, I have work. I have this. That's not an excuse for being unhealthy. you're caught up in the world that's just, made to make this, miserable, fat, unhealthy people. That's what literally, I mean, I don't want to go into the whole breakdown of all this stuff, but the reality is, watch what you eat, be careful. Learn about food, learn about health, learn about what's good for you, what's not good for you. There's so much out there. I mean, we're so engrossed in it because we grew up, just with all these things around us, these ideas and these, kind of just a way of living that we're blind. We haven't really thought, okay, is this healthy for us? Is this good for us? Is this going to be, is this going to help us be more healthier? But we don't. When it comes to our health, nothing. Complete closed doors, especially in our community.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like one thing, because I'm still talking about the spouse, because that's what we're talking about. But we have to be open. If we can't be open, which in most cases you can't, you have to be honest with yourself. Yeah. I mean, if you look, one of the reasons I'm motivated to work out, because I'm in my 40s. I don't think my wife would look at others, but I don't want to give my wife that door.
Yeah.
Like I want to take care of myself such that she doesn't have to look elsewhere. Yeah. I think that gets to the second point, and that is that it's not bad to do something for your spouse. I've heard this from so many men and from women as well who say like, well, he should just love me for me. She should just love me for me. They love, if that was...
Stop trying all of a sudden, huh?
Yeah, where's this stop
I hear that all the time. Oh, we're married now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm a married man. It doesn't matter
attitude.
what I look like. It doesn't matter what I wear. I'm already married. What does it matter?
I'm Muslim now. Why do I have to pray? Like, I'm Muslim. Like,
so you're telling me that the whole time that you were actually trying was because you were not married and you wanted attention from women? Like, what are you trying to say?
Or now that you're like, it's they work so hard for the first night, and they forget about all the nights that come thereafter. Yeah, and this is problematic. This is a sign of being selfish in marriage.
Yeah.
Just like no one, if a husband came to his wife, or if and said that, look, I'm thinking I can make some more money, get more money for the college fund for our kids, etc., for a bigger house, everyone would be on board.
Yep.
If a wife came to a husband and said, I'm thinking A, B, and C, again, outside of looks, everyone would be on board. When it comes to this, everyone's like, you should be happy with me. No one's saying not to be happy with your spouse, but the moment we stop trying is the moment we tell our spouse, I don't love you anymore. Because we're just saying, I don't care about your needs.
Yep.
My wife
Sometimes you have both spouses are the same way.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you're just having an unhealthy situation.
Exactly. And then,
that's all it is. And
then when you get into that, and so the idea is I want people to really encourage people to think to themselves that, look, what message am I thinking to my spouse am I giving to my spouse by my habits?
Yep.
How am I culpable in this whole process by him or her thinking that it's okay to be unhealthy because I myself am unhealthy? Again, no one is saying get shredded, get ripped. What we're saying is that have care to take the steps. Have care to take the steps.
I'm going to say one last point. I know we have more points to cover.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to open that up.
Last point on this is, if you're a woman or a man who thinks, oh, well, I'm married to this woman for like 15 years or 20 years. There are people right now, as we speak, who are getting divorced after 15, 20 years of marriage, pretty commonly.
People cheating, too.
Yeah, and they're cheating. A lot of times there's some cheating involved in there. And, it's because, and then they don't ever stop to think that the person has lost interest in them for some reason or the other, right? But I'm not saying that, okay, being physically fit is just going to solve all your problems. Don't get me wrong. But it's a huge step. It's a huge step because there's a lot that comes with being physically fit, mentally fit. Your mental state is better. Your spiritual state is better. Everything literally changes in your life when you start getting your health on track because it takes a lot out of you, right? It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of understanding. It takes a lot of sacrifices. And when you start doing stuff like that, it has a profound effect on different areas of your life. And I'm not the only one who says that. I recently shared a talk with you. Even the Mufti was talking about this very same concept, right?
Did I share that with you?
You shared it. Sorry, you shared that with me, or somebody shared that on Thread.
I shared it.
So, even to the point where he said even your deen is not as good as it can be if you're not in a healthy state.
The hadith is clear about that.
Very clear, yeah. So, the point, and so that's one thing, right? But let me be even more clear about this, right? Is that if you're not if you're not taking care of yourself, right? And even if it's been 15 years of marriage, and you say, oh, we have 5 kids. Okay, and it's over. No, it's not. If she's in her 40s and you're in your 40s, I mean, I'm 44. I don't feel like it's over for me at all. No. I'm ready to go out and get married again if I have to. You know what I'm saying? It's just there's nothing. They're not thinking oh, this person is not attractive. No, if you're not taking care of yourself, your husband's not blind and your wife is not blind. All right. They go outside. They have social media. They have TV. They have internet. They have all these things at their fingertips. And nowadays, if you look at anything with social media or anything on TV, everyone's fit. They don't show anybody it's a craze. It's a fad, especially nowadays. Everyone, men, women, the way the clothes that they wear, the styles, the whole fitness industry has taken off into just kaboom, right? It's like a billions and billions of dollars, $1 trillion industry all of a sudden, which used to be like $1 million industry maybe 15, 20 years ago. So everyone is aware, and if you're not looking good, your husband or your wife is not attracted to you as much as they might think you are, I mean, if they, and we'll get to the sex part and all that later too.
Yeah. So now let's take some practical points. One of the points that you brought up that you want to cover today was grooming and skincare.
Yes. I think that, part of being healthy and part of being looking good, is kind of understanding how to take care of your skin. Like, I'm going to give you a perfect example. We go to the masjid. I'm sure you've seen this too. So many men whose feet are just disgusting, not stinky or, but nails are not cut properly. Yeah. The skin's completely ashed out white, like I'm like, man, a drop of Vaseline wouldn't hurt. I mean, it could go a long way. I don't know what product you can use. I'm not gonna say what products that what to use, what not to use. I mean, I can recommend, but lotions and Vaseline or whatever it is, take care of yourself. I see their hands too. It's not just their feet. They'll be sitting next to me in prayer, and you're looking at their arms, you're looking at their hands, and they're just completely messed up and ashed out. And some people's nails are not cut properly, and their hair looks like if how would I be? People who have those crazy haircuts is a different story. But a lot of these guys don't even go get proper haircuts.
And we're talking about guys here right now. Yeah,
I don't even know what women look like. I'm not, I don't want to comment on that.
Guys, their nose hairs are coming out and stuff like that.
It's just like, wow. I mean, how's that okay? Yeah. How are you walking into your house and expecting your wife to jump over you? Or be attracted to you? It doesn't make any sense. The way you smell, teeth care, oral care, everything.
Yes, oral care. I mean, so many people have just foul breath.
Dude, guys are coming in, next to me and praying, and you can smell the food out their breath. Rinse your mouth after you eat. Use a miswak. There's sunnah for a miswak for a reason, right? Floss. Use
breath mints.
Whatever it takes. Brush your teeth. For God's sakes, a couple times a day. But in the skin, in the care department too, I'll say it's important to use good products. It's important. Cheap products are cheap. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. This is a reality. I know rich people use all this stuff, and you ever notice rich people really look way better? What I'm saying? They do. I've noticed this very over and over. You look at rich people and they just look better, and you're like, oh, they look better because they're rich. Well, no, because they use better products than you do, right? They use way better products than you. I'm not saying go out and use chemical products. You see, the more natural stuff, the better stuff, the stuff that's not bad for your health, those things cost more money. The cheap soaps, the cheap lotions, those things are not even good for your health. To be honest with you, a lot of the products that we use today are not really healthy products. You think that, I'm just using it in my hair, or I'm just using it on my skin, or I'm just using it externally. Yeah. That's not true. Whatever you put on your skin, whatever you put on your hair, it gets absorbed into your skin. Your skin's an organ, right? And then it does enter your bloodstream. People do, and when you say, we have cancers and it's caused by environmental causes, I'll give you a great example of this. There was a guy who had told me, he was making a dumb point, and I didn't want to have a long talk with this guy, so I just let him kind of ramble on with his dumbness. And he basically was telling me, there was a influencer who eats very clean food. Like this, she documents it all. She posts it on all over social media, and she works out all the time. She's super fit. She's super amazing. Blah blah. Blah, but she got cancer. So then I guess it doesn't really matter. No, it does matter. Because scientifically it is proven that when you work out, you have much lesser chance of getting cancer. And if you do get cancer, it's much lesser of a blow. Okay?
That's what happened with Habib.
Right.
My cousin, when he had cancer, his physician told him that because, mashallah, you kept yourself in such good shape that you were able to fight it stronger, even to... He did, yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
And so, but he told me that it was a lot of it, alhamdulillah, because he works out regularly. Yeah. And so those types of things, people sometimes just think, see, it doesn't make a difference. No, you're going to be given whatever test you're going to be given.
That's for sure from Allah. That's
your
true.
Acts will help mitigate how it's going to affect your life.
100%, And you can't increase longevity. I understand that. But you can increase the quality of life at any time. So, I was thinking in my head while this guy was telling me this, I was like, this is so dumb because his point was, because I work out and I eat healthy and all that stuff. He's like, you never know, you could still get sick. Like, everything comes from Allah. I understand that part. But besides that, I have to do my best. Yeah. And what he's not understanding is all this other stuff that this influencer might be using, right? I mean, the environment, the where she hangs out, what she does, what products she uses. I mean, everything nowadays in this industry, the food and drug industry, and anything out there product wise, they don't care about human beings. They don't sit there thinking, this will in long term cause cancer for people, so let's stop making it. No, if they're making money on it, they're going to continue making it, right? I mean, dyes in food is known to be a carcinogen. Anyone stopping?
Even like a lot of these protein powders, like Quest, big name, Vega, which I used to use, they have metals in them.
Yeah, insane, right?
Yeah,
you have to be very careful on what you're putting.
High levels.
Yeah, insane. You have to be careful. Just the other day we were talking to one of our friends, right? And he was talking about how he gets farm raised salmon, and he didn't get wild caught, and we had a conversation with him about that, and he quickly did some research, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's a world of difference."
Yeah, mercury levels and everything.
Everything, that's just garbage. That's like artificial to some degree, And even though there's some discrepancy in the wild caught stuff, it's still wild, and that's natural discrepancy. Yeah. So, but it's all these things matter. So yes, you got to use the right products. You got to spend a little money. People are like, "Oh, we don't make money yet." You know what? Make sure you spend your money in the right place. Not everyone is rich. Not everyone has a lot of money. But when it comes to taking care of yourself, there's certain things that you should spend money on and make sure you're doing well, and certain things that you shouldn't. And I feel like we have a very backwards in our community where they'll go out and they'll have these nasty dinners for expensive amount of money. With their families, they're going out. Every week we have to go out on the weekends and eat with our family and spend like $200. I'd rather you take that money, spend it on some wholesome nutritional food and products that'll take care of your health and give you a better life.
So now we've covered number one, that it is religious not to be disheveled. Yeah. The Prophet ﷺ was not disheveled.
Always groomed.
Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he spoke clearly that he would dress himself up and beautify himself for his spouse, just like he wanted his wife to dress himself or herself for him. Grooming and skincare. The next thing that we got to talk about is recognizing the proper clothing for your body type.
Yeah, I think we have to kind of follow principles of Sunnah.
Of course,
most of this stuff, but
I'm talking about in the house.
Oh, in the house.
Yeah, I mean, because the next thing we have is
if you're in shape, anything will look good. I'm just being honest with you. If you're in shape, like there's nothing that I don't want anything I can try on. I don't feel bad. I don't want to say like, oh man, this shirt doesn't look good on me. Or it might not fit. It's a different story. It might be an ugly color. But as far as t-shirts, dress shirts, full sleeve, long sleeve, suit jackets, shalwar kameez, thobe, anything that you could put on,
lungi.
You should look good in it, right? At any point, there's no doubt. I'll tell you a story about myself personally. I don't know if I should say this or not, but anyways,
you want to run it by me first?
It's not a bad story. It's just from my past, right? I was married,
before,
previously too, right? So. This woman that I had been married to, she was good looking. She was beautiful, And when I had seen her outside,
not that your current wife, of course.
Yeah, I'm just saying at the time, and good looking girl, everything great, and that's why obviously I was attracted to her to marry her. We get married, and the same person whose hair I used to love, whose clothes I used to love, you come home and she'd be wearing like my t-shirts, I mean, sometimes I'm not gonna don't get me wrong, it's cute, I come home and your wife's wearing a t-shirt, yeah, great, it was cute. But the way it was like, just really big baggy sweatpants and really big baggy shirt and hair not really done at all. It was always up, it was never down the way I like it. It was, you could tell why she's an ex, but one of those were one of the main things that really, bothered me because, I'd come home and I'd be like, what the heck is this?
So that actually, we're going to merge the next point with this because you've already gone there. And that is dress up in the house and dress down outside the house.
Agreed, 110%. I've had this conversation with a couple of my friends, and at their households, with their families, and their wives were livid when they heard me say this. But that is the reality, right? Yeah. I mean, we're not supposed, especially women. Look, men.
Need water?
Just, there's a lot of differences between men and women, right? We've talked about this before.
It's funny, as you're drinking water, this is a quick story. The imam that performed my nikah, Sheikh Salim, he's from Saudi. So he was mentioning someone whom he knew that they had to go to a wedding, so he came home and his wife was already dressed up, and so she was just really caught his eye and attention. So he's like, "Why don't we just stay in tonight? I'll go get some food. Let's spend the night at home."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." Like, she was very like flattered that he would say that.
Yeah.
So he went, he picked up some food, came back home. She had dressed down. He got so
Let's go back to the wedding.
He took her to the wedding. He's like, "This is how you dress for me? Go out just like that for them."
Yeah, it's very true.
And he told me that guy dropped her off at the wedding. I'm not saying to do that, but what I am saying is that it is so sad because the question has to come. Let's just look at the workforce. We have men and women who do work. If I'm dressing up more outside than at home, yes, it has to be professional, but who am I really trying to impress?
Yeah.
If I'm making sure that my beard is groomed and it's trimmed and like my cheeks are trimmed, whatever, and like I'm looking nice, and I come home and I just toss that all aside.
Yeah.
I've really lowered my wife beneath everyone else at work.
Yeah, and you don't have to wear the same clothes. Like,
Yeah.
don't get us wrong. Don't be like, oh, I wear a wedding. I wear like a nice shirt to the wedding, so I'm gonna wear a nice shirt at home because that's I'm trying to dress up. No, I mean you can wear like even sweats and look really good, right? Yeah. I mean just wear the right sweats, wear the right size. You don't want to be, if you're a woman, you don't want to be wearing like drowning clothes where your husband can't see your body shape or enjoy you the way you look or whatever it is. I mean you're at home. If you're just your kids and your husband, you don't have to be fully covered either, right? Yeah. I mean, am I wrong? You don't.
No.
Walk around naked.
Of course, like around the kids, you want to have some like, hey, but in the bedroom or when the kids are asleep, etc. Like husband and wives, they should consider. I
mean, even with the kids around, you don't have to be wearing full coverage.
You
you
don't
have
to.
T-shirt. You can wear nice pants. Look, I mean, those yoga pants that those girls wear outside, wear them at home. You know what I mean? Like,
but I wouldn't recommend wearing them around the kids.
Yeah, you don't want them to get the wrong idea. But I mean, saying like, the kids should also know that our parents dress up for each other.
So
or look good
you
for
bring
each
up
other.
a really good point. Kids should know because they get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
I think like there has to be a balance between what you would show only to your husband or to your wife, depending if it's a guy or girl, versus what you would show in front of your kids as well.
Right. I mean, of course, it's not going to be the same.
I know you're not. I just want to clarify for the audience.
But you have to wear something, that they know. Okay, mom's looks. She could wear these clothes at home because with dad.
Yeah.
Because we're just at home, and then when she goes outside, she's completely different. And I mean, it's very clear in my household like that as well, right? It's like they wear jababs when they walk out. The way when they're inside, they're wearing
different.
Sweatpants and t-shirts and stuff like that that fit them properly.
So I think let's this fit the proper fitting thing. So there's a couple things I want to mention over here, and you can please chime in. And that is like, look,
what are we going to talk about?
we're talking about fitting the proper clothing for your body type, and we're talking about not going outside the house looking one way and inside the house the other.
Yes. I was talking about how I had this conversation with some guys about this,
and the wives were livid.
Yeah. I mean, it is exactly what you're saying. Yeah, you're right.
So what I would recommend is that if there are compliments you received at work or at school about, hey, that color looks good on you, etc., chances are your spouse will feel the same way.
Yeah, get
that color for the house.
But you should, when you go down, and this is something that my kids go to Mother's, right? Yeah. So recently they started this whole thing where they're like, you need to wear socks when you go outside. Mm-hmm. We don't want you to come to school without socks on. Put your socks on and come. And they even made them wear this just hijab, which is actually, when you read like the hijab, like the eyes of the hijab, or even the sunnah in the Quran, in the hadith, it's about how this brother has to drape over your head, cover all the way down to your chest, right? So really
cover over here.
Yeah, so this hijab is pretty big, it really covers everything, and it drapes all over your shoulders and over your chest. Yeah. So they make them started wearing this crazy huge hijab, and they've slimmed down to what. They've got a uniform for the jalbab now. Okay. So before it was like, okay, just wear a jalbab and hijab and get to school, right? Yeah. But they started realizing that the girls were dressing nice hijabs, and it attracts attention, right? So they have a boys' school on one side, they have a girls' school on one side. Yeah. So they wanted to end the idea or even the thought that the girls should make themselves attractive, even with hijab and jalbab, and that's true, right? I mean, you do see women. You tell them to wear hijab. And they start wearing all these, fancy hijabs, and they start doing all this fancy stuff with their hijabs, and some of them, their earrings sticking out, some of them have all these designs. You're still attracting attention. You've completely missed the point of the hijab, right? The hijab is to cover yourself, hide yourself. Yeah. People, men can have 4 wives. Women can only have 1 husband. So there is a huge difference, fundamental difference in the way you walk out of the house versus I can walk out of the house like this, and I get it. I used to walk into downtown, and I would wear my fitted shirts and fitted pants, and my friends would always tell me like, oh yeah, people, I always see people noticing you. I said, I don't notice it, But okay, I get it, right? And my wife's pointed that out too. Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, you attract a lot of attention because of your size, because you're muscular, and most muscular people do.
Yes.
It's not nothing mean.
Happens to me all the time.
I'm sure, right? So, but it's because I do wear these fitted shirts and stuff like that. Now, a woman just can't do that.
Yeah.
This is okay. I mean, I shouldn't be attracting attention to myself. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that men can. I don't wear skin tight shirts. Like there are people who wear tank tops and skin tight. I try to be modest as much as I can, but a woman just doesn't even have that much playroom, right? We have a little bit of playroom as long as we're within the bounds of the sunnah and the spirit of the sunnah. We can play within a certain like we have a little bit of space, not much. But for women, there's absolutely none. So women really need to understand when you're going out, there's no perfume, there's no makeup, there's no, there's no anything that should attract. Now, don't repel men by smelling like crap either. But I mean, the point is that one man should look at you and say, "Oh, this woman really does not want to be noticed, so let's leave her alone." And it is true. It is true. That does happen. And that happens because I'm a man. I can tell you that myself, right? If I walk out and there's a woman with draped hijab and a draped jilbab, it's very plain black and it's kind of loose, I know that woman doesn't want me looking at her. First of all, I don't even look at her. Yeah. I could just see it. I know I shouldn't even turn around and look by accident. Or even if I have to look in that direction to look for my daughters or whatever it is, I purposely don't look because that's the message that she's sending out. Yeah. Don't look this way, even if you need to look this way. And literally, we'll even stop driving and look down so that she can pass. That is drawing some powerful. That is power.
So what I want to encourage is like taking that, and the opposite should be true at home. Like, look this way.
Yes, 100%.
And so,
but we see that in public. I see women with their fancy hijabs. They have all these colors. Of course, it's going to catch your eye.
So what I'm saying,
that
we have to encourage them. Like, part of being healthy. 40 minutes? Oh, wow, better than I thought. So where?
Since you got anything to say about this, bro?
He's supposed to go to sleep, man. So like, look, dress in a way. And so I'm going to actually put the onus on the men over here, but the women as well. So the onus on the men is like, hey, compliment your wife.
If she looks good, yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. If she looks good, I agree. Yeah, if she looks
Don't
good,
lie to her.
Oh, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think sometimes a wife looks good and you're thinking like, dang, she looks good, but you don't say it.
Yeah.
And then now she made the effort. She didn't get the compliment.
Yeah.
And I'm not excusing the behavior for someone to go fish for compliments outside. But if we don't provide that person inside, then like women... So many times our scholars, even the Prophet spoke about the propensity, the desire of women to be noticed.
Yeah.
And if we're not giving them that notice, we're not saying, wow, you really look good.
That's the creatures they are. They need attention.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But when we fail at that, it's a problem. So men and women dress in a way. So what do we mean over here? Look at your body types.
Yeah.
Men, there's a shirt brand out there called, what's it called? True Classic.
Something, I don't know.
So it's like it hugs the arms a little more,
yeah.
hugs the chest a little more, a little loose in the stomach. Like if you're gonna wear a t-shirt, invest a little more in that, so your wife is like, wow.
No, just work out.
I agree. I'm
you don't need special clothes.
No.
Work out. Keep yourself in good shape.
But if you have a good body, you can make it look nicer.
No, you just don't need a shirt at all.
No, I understand, but what I'm saying is that
take off your shirt.
I don't want to take off my shirt. My kids around, like she'll walk in the house, everyone has a color that looks good on them.
Yeah.
You wear that in the house. You wear a cut that looks good. If you have broad shoulders, accentuate those shoulders in the home. Like for the guys. If you have a nice body, accentuate that.
Go ahead, say that about girls too. What should they accentuate?
They should accentuate that which the husbands want them to accentuate, okay? What's wrong with that?
No, that's completely right. I agree. And and I think you made a really good point here is like you do make the compliments, If your wife is looking good, you should tell her, hey, you look really good, And I think I'll take that a step further. And I don't know, this is probably not in our purview, but still, it's good to discuss, telling them that you love them, telling them that you find them attractive.
Yes.
And playing with them. Like, he read, I think, did you read the hadith in the beginning of this?
No, I just told you.
Okay, you told me about
it.
But, if your wife is looking attractive, go play with her, Yes. I mean, playtime is not only foreplay before sex.
Yes.
Let me just tell you that.
Yes.
During the day, throughout the day, you should be playful with your wife. You should be joking with her. You should be having fun with her. And if you have daughters, you have to give a certain amount of attention to them too. We've all heard this, right? Daddy issues, and we've heard of people those are the people who don't get attention from their fathers. They end up going outside at a young age and start looking for attention.
You're what's it called? Girl daddy? I'm a girl dad.
Yeah, I'm a girl dad. I have all girls.
Yeah, like what's that? They used to call Kobe that. Austin, what do they call Kobe? Because you're a big Kobe guy. Girl dad. Girl dad.
Yeah,
you're a big girl dad. Like I think if you had sons, I think you'd still be like girl dad.
I don't want sons. I love having girls, and I'm telling you, I have girls from 17 to 6, and I have to literally pay a lot of attention to every single one of them.
Yeah.
I have to be, loving towards them. I have to tell them I love them. I have to be hugging them all day long. You have to give so much attention to them, and because that.
You know what that does? If there's a guy who they're gonna marry who's not willing to do that, they see the standard you set. They know I have to get above that because man, dad set standard high. Like the father-in-law set the standard high. I have to really be good to this daughter.
Yeah.
Whereas if a girl didn't get that, she'll take any type of attention.
And also, I kind of want to also clarify here, not princess crap. Not putting them up on a pedestal and making them these princess women that we have today. I completely disagree with that. I keep it real with my girls. I keep it very honest with them. They know that the way I live in the house, they know what the man's role is and the woman's role is. They know that very clearly. There's no arguments about it. When I walk into the house, they know who the boss is. They know who dad is. They know there's an alpha male in the mix. They know what's going on. It's not like, I come there and I completely princess them out, and so now the guy who's going to get married and now he's stuck with some princess chick who doesn't want to cook, clean, or take care of her kids or do anything like that, but just want to play, run around to expensive. No, hell no, that's not happening in my house at all.
Yeah.
But still giving them love and attention and playing with them, playing outside with them, playing games with them, playing sports with them, checking on their homework, stuff like that is really, really important. And teaching them the proper lessons in life and stuff like that. And even to the point where I told you, right, if I see my daughters, veering off into this like feminist type of, movement or ideology or thinking, I correct that right away. I'm like, no, that's not how it's going to be.
Yeah.
You need to understand this. And my wife does the same thing with them, right? Yeah. Like, she'll tell them very clearly. She'll be like, listen, when you get married, you're going to have a husband. Yeah. And that's the man that you respect. That's the man that you listen to. That's the man that you follow. And that's the man that you support, just like I do over here. And it's very important that the man and the woman give that, give that message to the girls, especially because today the divorce rate is high because of the crap that these men have pulled on and made their daughters feel like they're true princesses when there ain't no damn princesses around them.
I do fault the men a lot for that. Next thing is we said try to sculpt the body. And look, there's 2 parts to this. There's actually 3 parts to this. So the first I want to mention is that sometimes you got to lead by example. If you're the husband and you've let yourself go, and we know a lot of people, myself included, after I got married, I feel like I let myself go. Cause we used to work out in college. And if we're not taking the initiative and we're like, hey, you need to do something about yourself, what is that? A man takes the initiative. A man leads by example. If this means you want to just start small and increase your steps, you start walking after dinner. You start walking after every meal, and then you could take your family with you.
Yeah.
And I mean, we want to
follow suit.
They do follow suit. The kids go with you. Tell the wife if you're being loving, you want to walk with it. I mean, take those initial steps.
Yeah.
And then recognize that Allah Ta'ala gave you a body. If you look at the Prophet, he's the best example. When Allah gave us the best example, Uswatun Hasana, he could have made the best example someone who was stagnant, didn't move, or did not have a good build, or did not take care of his breath. He was very conscious to keep clean breath, or who did not look young. He could have done any of that. To see sometimes being an imam in the community, we do have imams who just, there's no need for any of this. But it is a sunnah for a reason. It is a sunnah. The Prophet, when he would walk in the house, he would do miswak first. Why? Breath is fresh. Kiss your wife. Have close conversation with your wife, etc. And so take the initiative. And then, honestly, we sound like a broken tape or broken record, but here, hit the gym.
Yeah.
Hit the gym. If you don't want to hit the gym yet, start with calisthenics. Yeah, bring the gym home. Start with calisthenics. Get bands. Get what are the
TRX?
Yeah, the TRX. But what's suspension trainers? Get a suspension trainers. If you can want to move to weights, but that's a different conversation, sort of. But sculpt your body.
Yeah. One is getting healthy.
Yeah.
And then one is actually trying to look good. I mean, you have to. We spend a lot of time doing a lot of garbage stuff.
Yeah, we do.
I really see that, especially in our community. People are watching movies, people are watching TV, social media, all this stuff. Take time out, stop doing some of those things, and start, taking care of yourself. And this is probably a different conversation for a different time. But a lot of people spend their entire time running after their children. oh, this sport, that sport, this
Oh,
event,
yeah,
that
seriously.
event. And then they've completely let go of themselves, completely let go of their health, and then oh, it's all for my kids, all for my family. And that's not what life is truly about. That's not what Islam dictates either. And neither, this is like a weird cultural pseudo, Muslim thing that we've kind of created within our own things.
You know why? Because we became so wealthy as a community. Now we don't know what to do with our wealth, so put our kids into a million sports.
Yeah.
And buy this. That's what
all
I feel.
kinds. I don't know. It's all kinds of stuff. And they always have to take the bad from all the communities too. Like, the middle class and upper class, white people. This is what they do, and so this is what we should do. And it's just kind of Muslims are never too proud of their own deen enough. That's what I feel like. They would never. Our deen is so simple. It's just so easy. Oh, that's boring. Our kids want. What's wrong with it? It starts with what's wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not haram, right? Okay,
yeah.
And then it just starts. Then it starts going off into a whole different, and that's how it always starts. That's how shaitan starts. Like, people don't ever realize that shaitan starts with a simple line: "It's not haram," And then before you know it, you're definitely doing a lot of haram stuff. You just don't know because you're still thinking you're not doing anything haram. But in any case, yes. You need to sculpt it, meaning like one is to stay healthy, and second of all, why not? Get your arms a little bit bigger. Men shouldn't be walking around with toothpick sticks, bro. I don't understand that. I really do wonder. There are some men out there who are so weak. You go out there and something happens to your kids or your wife, and you got to protect them, or you got to help them, or anything. Like,
do you see that video, the online clip? It sort of went viral. There's two men. I forgot what's the background. It was in New York, and I think they had clipped a person driving or something happened. Father and son. So the guy pulled over, got out of the car.
Beat the crowd. The father.
Beat
right?
the father, and the son just stood there. Father went unconscious.
Yeah.
And the son got on his knees. He's like, "Please don't."
And he hit him too, I think.
He hit him. Took his phone. Took a wallet. They caught the guy, but it's like, come on, bro. You're your dad. Imagine
How
that's
old
your
was that guy?
wife. He was younger than us.
Yeah, but was he 18, 20, 19? What was he?
No. He was. I think he was in his 30s. I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's even sadder.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah. Imagine you're just your wife.
Yeah, and these are known to be weak. Indian, especially the Muslim community and the Indians, and especially the Indians in the Muslim community are Indian Pakistanis are known to be.
Look at and
weak,
I mean, look at the Hindu wrestlers within our Indo-Pak culture, the Indian culture. Say, they existed.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to be. Look at like people like Tipu Sultan, who's a Muslim, right? We have people who existed. Look at Maulana Madani, who was not afraid to pick up a firearm and go to prison if need be. My point is, like, we don't have to accept being weak. Maulana Qasim al-Nazir rahmatullahi alayhi was not a big man, but he's a strong man. And so I don't know why we get this misunderstanding of the day.
And we're educated, so no one's going to mess with us. Yeah, the world is physical, guys. And that's the reality of it. As safe as, a lot of these people think, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, who's going to mess with me? I can come in there and punch you in the face. What are you going to do? I just really wonder, like, you think that there's like some invisible barrier that protects you because you're a Muslim community and no one's going to, nothing's going to happen to you? You go to the stores, you go here, you go there, you might piss somebody off, someone might just see you and get mad, they're having a bad day. People should not be able to mess with you. More importantly, the world is crazy. You go out, I see people traveling all over the place, Things can happen. It just is good to be, be able to handle situations, and I get it. Somebody there's two sides to the party. One guy will be like, oh, just learn how to fight. Look, man, if you're not healthy and you're not in good shape and you're not, fighting doesn't get you there. Yeah. I mean, you can learn how to great fight. You can probably get your cardio up there, and you can probably punch in the box all, the bag all day. But strength has its own place, on the field.
And strength is attractive. You go home and you do something of strength. It's an attract. I mean, men, if we cannot move a ladder in the house, if we cannot, because we're talking about attracting the attention of our spouse in the house.
You can't move heavy stuff.
If we can't move our grocery bags into the house.
I don't like to even ask my wife for help if I need to pick something heavy up. I'll tell you that right now. If there's something really heavy and I got to pick it up, I'll just do it by myself.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it yourself. But
I don't care, I see guys like asking their wives. I've seen some wives who can lift more than their husbands. I'm not even lying. I've seen it a couple of times. I'm like, wow, because they're really toothpick skinny.
Yeah.
And their wives are a little bit, bigger, and they'll be able to pick up like the rice bags and stuff like that easily.
and the thing is, like, again, skinny. I remember I was lifting just recently. I was trying to max out, and so I put whatever on the bar, and I told my wife, like, I need a spot. And she's like, I can't lift that. I was like, yes. So she grabbed one side and I boys grabbed the other in case I needed a spot. But the point is that strength is attractive.
Yeah.
So when you sculpt your body, like Shaq said, first go for healthy. Let's work towards being healthy. If we're overweight, if we are, look, I'm not trying to fat shame people. I grew up being 30% body fat. I was 29.9% body fat in eighth grade.
Let's fat shame people. You shouldn't be fat.
No, that's a different. See, I don't consider it fat shaming to say you shouldn't be fat.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not fat shaming. I don't know where we get like this overly sensitive mentality.
Yeah, it's all weak mentality.
Yeah, look, should we be fat? No one's going to say that. No physician's going to come and say we should be fat. What we're saying is that, look, make the effort to get healthy. That's going to include inches off the stomach. That's going to include the ability to be able to do basic cardiovascular activity, functional strength, carry your grocery bags. And, you have to get the family on board, but we're talking about sculpting the body as well. So
men and women need to sculpt the body.
Yeah, men and women need to sculpt the body.
Sculpting the body is huge. I mean, like you said, right? The society puts these norms of what's beautiful and what's not. And today's society norms for being beauty is having those, that sculpted, curvy body, right? Yeah. So I mean, it really does. It's kind of, you really need to take some effort and do that if you want to look good.
And honestly, the spouse will appreciate the effort. It's what really upsets people is when people are like, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say something very controversial right now, but does it happen too often? Historically speaking, Austin, how much time do we have left? What are you at? Okay, so let's wrap it up. But historically speaking, and the women are not going to like this. I'm just be open about this. If you are a wife, and your husband lives in a society where he can get a second wife, you're taking care of yourself. You really are.
That shouldn't make a difference for a man to get a second, third, fourth wife.
No. What I'm saying is that so now that's gone.
Yeah.
And then the opposite perspective, when you're in a society when men participate in jihad and they're warriors, so the opposite perspective, and they had displays of strength, the people who didn't display it, they knew they may not be the ones who were chosen right away.
Yeah.
So our society has become so stagnant and so just weak. Weak. Yeah, we really are a weak society that people don't notice these things anymore. Yeah. Both sides of the coin, we have to have these types of displays of beauty. And this honestly leads to the next point, which we're running out of time, so we're going to have to make the next segment about this, which is all of these things affect your intimate life, your sex life. Mm-hmm. It affects this.
Yeah.
There are, I've had, and this doesn't sound inappropriate, so I'm going to just
let's go over a few minutes. We have to go ahead.
No. We should do a full thing on this. I remember one husband who told me that his cardiovascular health was so poor he could not keep up in the bedroom. He was like, I get tired.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, this is an issue because
or a woman.
That's because it's a divorceable offense. If the man cannot
satisfy your woman. Yeah.
And so we'll have to say that for a different thing because that's related to health as well.
Yeah,
that's related to health as well. And so,
I mean, here's the thing, guys. Sex is an important part of being married.
It is.
It's an important part of being a human being.
Yes.
If the woman doesn't have the drive anymore as she gets older, right, it could be health issues, right? Yeah. A lot of times it's health issues. It's not that she's, she might be skinny or whatnot, but it's not. Healthiness, right? The mental health, the spiritual health, the emotional health, the physical health. These all are tied together, right? If one is failing, the other ones are definitely going to be failing as well, right? You can't be like, she's super physically fit, but then she's not mentally sound. No. Usually you have to kind of keep all of them together, maintain well. And if you're a healthy person who's taking care of themselves in all aspects of health, you are going to, have a healthy sex drive as well, And, I've over the years, I've always asked my friends, and people that I know, I just always ask them, how many times a week do you guys do it?
That's not good.
Yeah, I just want to know what's going on. I'm collecting data. So it's sometimes, at the beginning of the marriage cycle, it's like, okay, we're doing, 5-6 times a week, right? And then it comes down to, once a week or twice a week or, random like that. It's kind of weird because, if you're married, if you have a woman and a man in a house, it should be daily. I just, if it's a healthy man, a healthy wife, it should be daily, I think. And so, health definitely does affect that. I have people who, are in their late 30s and 40s, and this is a completely different topic as well, like testosterone levels going down and stuff like that. There's a lot of environmental issues in here, a lot of the food crap that's going on. But again, you're not taking care of yourself, right? Because you don't know what's healthy for you, you don't know what's not healthy for you. You're eating whatever you want to. You're not exercising properly. Yeah. Even people who are exercising nowadays have low testosterone levels just because of the food, the products that they're taking in, right? all these things have a profound effect. You can find ways to increase your testosterone naturally, right? And as you get older, if you need to get into TRT, then you need to get into TRT. Whatever you need to do to maintain that, you have to do to maintain it. But there are men who are in their 30s and 40s whose levels are far lower than what they should be for the normal average male of their age, and that is because they're not taking care of themselves. And they do admit that they have a lower sex drive as well. If you have lower testosterone, you're most likely going to have a lower sex drive, so you're most likely not going to have as much with your wife. I mean, it just becomes, you don't use it, you lose it, right? So
what's interesting, in hadith class we learn that women have a higher sex drive than men. But Allah made their haya and their modesty so much that they don't necessarily ask for it.
Right.
Oh, there's nothing wrong for women.
It. Yeah. But if you're a wife, you have every right.
Yeah, every right to ask for it.
Yeah.
But my point is that the husband, just in his unhealthiness, is not. So she's not asking for it out of modesty. He's not providing for it. It causes psychological problems. It causes religious problems. It causes infidelity.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I didn't know there was a hadith about this, because I've learned that just through experience over time that women do normally have a higher sex drive than men. I mean, across the board, I've seen that all the time. So that's interesting. There's an hadith too, and
I'll pull the hadith. I remember in our hadith class. I remember Mona Hikmatullah, he went over this very clearly.
I know there's a little more controversial stuff to that I had read about, but we could discuss that offline. But it's just. It is true. I think that is. Women, in general, are not the predators like the men are, right? They're more like the prey, right? So, but they're looking for it, but they want someone to come and take it from it. So they're not like in a bad way. But they want someone to woo them, or they want someone to come at. If you're married, like when they're out there single, the non-Muslim women, they're looking to get wooed and wine and dine, and basically taken care of in that manner as well. And when you're husband and wife, the wife is expecting the husband to come after her, and grab her and play with her, and the reality is that I don't want to go into psychiatry and all that stuff like that, or psychology, but the reality truly is, even if you've pissed off your wife, right, and she's in a bad mood, or she's in a stressed out mood, or she's because of kids or whatever, a long day, that could help. When you go there and you kind of start playing with them, and it helps, right? A lot of times it helps. It's a stress reliever. There's so much good stuff that comes out of a healthy sex life. So it's really important that the man is a driver, the woman does want it too, but sometimes it dies on either end, right? But again, that's because you're not taking care of your health, you're not really keeping up with it, and you're not there's a loss of attraction somewhere. And that is the reality. And if a woman's watching this and she's wondering what's wrong, my husband barely comes after me for once or twice a week. Check yourself, number one. Number two, check him. Is he healthy? Is he taking care of himself? What's he eating? What is he doing after work? How much social media are you? How much TV are you watching? How much time are you watching sports? What other activities is this dude doing that he's not on you at least once a day? That's what I want to know. Look at yourself, look at him, and you start assessing that situation, and you start working towards it, because there is a fundamentally grave issue if your husband is more interested in other stuff than being at home with you. And if you're having a bad marriage, I understand that. That's different. But for anybody who has a normal marriage, there's something not, you could have 10 kids, right? But these people, I've seen people who have 7, 8 kids, and they're still making kids. So how's that happening? It's not one-hit wonders all the time, right?
Oh, it was really funny. And I know we're at past an hour, so I'm going to stop over here. But when we were in Zambia, one of my teachers from Benoi town, from Pakistan, was 90 years old. He had just come and he was visiting Sheikh Hadith, and he was visiting, and some of my teachers were laughing, and so I asked my classmates, like, hey, why are they laughing? Like, and he said, oh, they're laughing at their ustad, like, who's visiting. Like, why? He's like, oh, yeah, he's visiting us, so he left behind he was newly married, and a 6-month-old, a 6-month-old child. Wow. And yeah, man, it's different. I remember, I went on time. So anyway, awesome. We're at an hour. So we'll stop over here. On behalf of Asim and Shaquille and Mujtaba, who's not here, so they can do it for his kids. So first of all, I congratulate you for being so appropriate. And I was really worried how today's conversation is going to go. That's what I ended before we get off the rails.
No, we're not editing any of these shows.
So on behalf of Shaq, Asim, and Muj's not here, this is Saad signing off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.